Okay, we're back to try this again and see if I can get some audio along with it here. So this is a blank canvas. I'm going to start with a sketch, put it on the horizontal plane here, draw a circle, click there, drag out to 50 millimeter or 100 millimeter diameter, 50 millimeter radius. Then we're going to create extrusion, this, which you could also hit with this shortcut button there. Click that surface, pull up, and we can just type in 100 millimeters. Enter. We'll be done with that. So we've got a cylinder now. You can see that that's a good starting point. We're going to add another sketch, again on the horizontal plane. We'll rotate around to where we can sort of see the front view here. And we're going to draw a rectangle that will be the base of the foot that extends out from the cylinder. So we're going to make a nice symmetric rectangle, and then do the same thing. We'll pull that surface up. We can pull it up. We can look from the side here where we are. We probably want it roughly the same height as it is deep, so something like that. And we want to notice that it's red by default. That's because it defaults to having a cut operation. So right here we can see that the cut operation is selected. If we switch that to join, then we're going to actually create a new piece that will join in to that cylinder. That's what you'd want to do for all of those legs that stick out to support. Now we could go ahead and try and cut this down to make it triangular, but it's actually really handy to go ahead and put the hole in the part first that the bolt is going to go through. So we're going to go ahead and create. Actually, we need to reference the center of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to construct an axis. Let's see, we want a midplane. That's what we want first. So we want this and this surface, and it's going to construct the midplane. There we go. And then we can that will locate the center of that foot. So then if we create a hole, we can put a hole in that surface, and we can click its reference to be on that plane. We have to wait till it gets highlighted. We sometimes have to zoom in, and there we go. It's highlighted there. So that will make sure that that hole, oops, I don't want to do that. I'm undoing. Let's see. No, I want to go back. I somehow finished the hole accidentally early. So back to how we did that. Create hole. We're going to click the face that the hole will be on, and then we choose as a reference the plane that's now dividing it. So we can see, if we look, we can see that that hole is located in the center of that foot. It's not centered in and out, but we want a little bit of flexibility there. So we can move it if we need to. We want to decide that this hole is going to look like this, which is going to have some space for the head of the bolt. So if we look from the side and start to set this up, we want a flat drill point. We want this hole to go all the way through. We want this edge to go part way down, and we can also make that edge larger. So you can notice what's happening is we get a larger diameter hole at the top, and we can drag that out a bit. I'm exaggerating this. You probably don't want 26 millimeters. You want to figure out what the right size is for the bolts that we're going to use on the table. You get the idea of how that works. And so that's going to create a complete hole through the bottom part, and then a larger hole that makes room for the head of the bolt. Again, either of those can be typed in directly. So we'll go ahead and hit OK to finish that. And we notice if we look up from above, we can see the hole that we would expect to have there. You can see that it's got a nice layer opened up for the head of the bolt. We do notice that that's starting to cut into the cylinder a little bit, so we might also actually want to go edit that hole. So if we click on that, hit edit feature, now we can actually modify, move that hole. And so you notice as we scroll around with the move command, we get choices for all these different pieces. So we want to that's not going to move the hole. Don't want to do that. Let's go back to whole, edit feature. Now we're going to move the whole thing here. So we can actually have as our reference this plane, and now it'll move it over to that plane again. So we can freely move it around wherever we want. So if you want it farther away from the main cylinder, you can find the right distance. And then when you're happy with where it is front to back, you can have it centered by referencing this mid plane that we created. And then we can leave it there. So that's always editable. Now we've got basically what we needed. We've got a hole through this part. The last thing we want to do is cut it off so that we don't have all this extra bulk. That would be fine, it's just sort of excessive. So the way to do that is going to be to add a sketch to this face, and then on that sketch, draw a line from the top corner here. You can't quite see where we're going, down to the bottom corner here, right? And then I'll zoom out a little bit. We can see then our last operation would be to push this surface all the way through to make it a cut that goes all the way across. And we can hit OK. And so we're left with the nice angle cut off there. We notice that that bolt hole has a little bit of a shelf for the top of that bolt to grab onto. So if we're not sure we like that, then we can go back to this hole, right click, edit feature, and here we are again. We can move it back a little bit more if we'd like it back there a bit more, and again reference it back to that mid plane. Hit OK, and we see the effect of that. And we want this to go down a little bit more so that that bolt head has some grip all the way around. We can of course edit that as well, edit feature, and then we're going to want to pull down this top piece a little bit farther. And we can even go pretty far down. We don't need that much material. So that's enough material left below it. We can see how much, oops, I don't want to do that. You can see how much material there is if we just measure there to there. And that length was, let's see, the pan around here, that's 10 millimeters between those two circles. So that would be plenty of material. That looks pretty good. At this point, we can zoom out, take a look at what we've got here, and call it good for that one. If you want to hide this plane that's kind of in the view here, you can hide construction. That would be any reference planes that were made in the process. So that's an example of how to do one of those.